Okay everyone, a brief introduction. We're underneath this rather elegant ash tree.
Yep.
And you can see up there all these lovely big crevices and holes, just beautiful territory for bat roosting, which is exactly what we were about to talk about. And I'm going to introduce you to Kevin.
Hello, hi, I'm Kevin Hand, I'm an independent ecologist, and this tree behind me is typical of the hundreds if not thousands that are going to be felled along the HS2 route this winter. And they are potential bat roosts. HS2 have a license in some cases, they don't have here interestingly, but in some cases along the route they have a legal license from Natural England to remove bats from roosts like this. Now this is autumn going into winter, there's no food for the bats and there's no other places to go, so they're hibernating in it. You take them out, you fell the tree, this is what they're legally allowed to do apparently, and then they have an act of parliament and they have licences and this kind of thing. But then they release the bat again afterwards. They haven't actually killed the bat, but they've virtually killed it because it's got nowhere to go, it's starving, and it's the middle of winter. Now, like many of our laws, this just seems totally wrong to me. If it's done in the summer, yeah, okay, it's still wrong, but the bats have a chance. In the middle of winter, it's a death sentence.
Wow, that's just mad. I'm like, why? What is the purpose of the license?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's so you're not actually breaking the law by killing the bat directly, but you might as well. It's probably more humane to take the bat out of the roost and kill it there and then, euthanize it, rather than let it starve to death in the cold, trying to find a new roost. And some of these all bats are rare, they're all protected by law, they're all heavily declining. And some of the bats in this area, like the Barbastelle that we found up at Jones Hill Wood, are incredibly rare. We have another wood on the route with Beckstein's bat in, really rare. There's a bat called Alcanthoe down at Denham, which none of us know much about. One of a new species in Britain, and that occurs down there. So all of these bats have to have somewhere to go in the winter, and they go quiet, they hibernate until the weather's warm again.
How did we find out about the Alcanthoe?
That's an interesting one. HS2 gave some funding to one of the wildlife trusts to do some research on it. I think it must have been known about already. But HS2, as you know, have large amounts of money, our money, taxpayers' money, to throw around and use in various ways. Arguably this is quite a good use of the money to fund research into this rare bat. Although again, of course, you're destroying its habitat by putting a railway through it. So that's interesting, and I guess the Wildlife Trust, by taking those funds, are a little bit compromised, I suppose, in their ability to object to the project, as I'm sure they do, but maybe they can't say it so easily. Maybe there's even a clause in that stops them from saying things about it. I don't know.
Do we know if there's any continuation of the policy that created that funding?
The funding for HS2.
Yeah, I'm like, how long ago was this? I'm like, has there been a change of management? Has there been a change of thought? Has there been a change of attitude towards bats?
Very good point. So this work was done in the early days of HS2, we think, when I think a lot of us thought HS2, high-speed travel, was a good thing environmentally. Why not? Let's take people off the roads. But I think we've all grown highly cynical about HS2 and its reasoning, the reasons for doing it. Whereas some of the early work, maybe we could have all worked together. You now have this us and them attitude that's been created by HS2, I think, not giving any information out, highly secretive, signing non-disclosure agreements with a number of bodies, including wildlife trusts, and not working with people like myself, but just making us do all this kind of work to try to catch them out. This is ridiculous. We should all be on the same side.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kevin. I
Thank
think
you.
we'll inform the public with all this.
Yeah, and if you have thoughts about this, contact your MP, contact HS2, tell people what you think on social media. We need to people to know that this sort of thing is happening, because it's hidden like the bats in the tree. It's death that nobody notices.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin.